Hey guys, Captain Daniel here of Odyssey. I'm with Brandon again from the Current, and we just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about the local rockfish program right now.
Yeah, so basically, if you're jumping on an open party 3/4 day or a private charter 3/4 day, rock fishing's kind of been the name of the game right now. And it doesn't leave much options for bass fishing with the new regulations. Um, Basically, if you have rockfish on board, you can't go in and fish shallow afterwards. So there's an opportunity to maybe go fish shallow first thing and then finish up rock fishing. But pretty much on any of these trips, if we're going rock fishing, that's all we're going to do that day. So I wanted to go over some of the tackle, some of the lures we're using. I think you guys have a pretty good handle on the dropper loop program, so we're not going to touch on that much. That's always a great option. What we're going to get into is rods, the line, and some of the jigs we're using.
Yeah, some of the stuff's really specialized. We like to use a really thin diameter line, cuts through the water better, keeps that contact with the bottom at all times, keeps you vertical straight up and down. Let's go over just a dropper loop setup really quick. I know we weren't going to touch on that a lot, but a parabolic rod, and this reel here is a Saltis 35, and it's loaded with 30-pound Spectra. All the way to the brim. We got a small top shot on there, and then we'll run our simple double gangion from there. Something with a big handle, long handle, high speed, narrow, tall reel is good for this. And then that parabolic rod again. This is a little heavier because we're fishing anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds of weight sometimes, depending on the current and the depth. And right now with the regulations, we do have to fish deeper outside of that, that boundary line.
Yeah, definitely because of the regulations, we have to fish deeper. That also gives us a lot of water that we haven't fished before, which is cool. So be prepared. If you're going open party, make sure you have adequate weight. If you don't, check with the landing. They have weights available and recommendations based on what the captain told them that they're going to be fishing that day.
So some of the specialized gear we fish, guys, is this Rock Rover jig by Daiwa. That, again, is actually on their Elevate rod. This rod is meant for this jig, and we have it set up on a Saltis 15 full of 15 pounds. So pretty light line, really thin diameter. It's going to keep you on bottom really well.
Yes,
grab that.
So
it's kind of a specialty rod.
Definitely a specialty rod. I would say you could fish other jigs with it as well, like a knife jig style jig as well. It's got a very, very soft tip, which gives that jig the action. Which works well for a lot of other jigs, if I'm going to be honest. And then the 15-pound, like Daniel was saying, is a lot stronger than you think. And the reason we're doing that is it allows you to fish a lighter jig straight up and down and deeper.
Yeah, and with these jigs, there's a couple different ways to fish them. There's directions on the package, a couple different hook placements, and a couple different line ties. It's going to just change the action of the jig, the flutter, the fall, how fast it drops down. We seem to like to fish them straight out of the package. I believe they're like this, and we tie to this end here, which is going to put that weight forward and down, and it's going to rock it down full speed, get you down to the bottom, and again, remain in good contact with that light line. Another rod, another kind of style we like to do is the slow pitch jigging. Another specialized setup, really short rod, really parabolic. This rod's actually meant to pick up the jig and flick it, and these jigs are center weighted. Check this thing out. This is kind of your falling leaf style jig where it's going to fall flat like this and go through the water column. We are rockfish fishing. You have to fish, you can only fish 2 hooks, so you can't do a double hook on top, double hook on bottom. You can do a double hook on top and no hooks on the bottom, or have it set up like this. I like to fish like this if the bottom's not too sticky. You got a better hookup ratio like that. And if you pin the fish with 1 hook, the second hook usually gets them.
Yeah, swings into them.
We set these up. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera here, but we set that up with a ball bearing swivel and a split ring. I always have extra hooks on hand, extra split rings, ball bearing swivels, and a good set of pliers for that, a good set of split ring pliers. So these jigs have been really productive for us. There's a few different types. Your standard SK jig from Daiwa. This one here is called the, I believe it's the Dr. Slow, or Mr. Slow Pitch, and then the FK jigs as well. And anywhere from, we're fishing jigs from 120 grams all the way up to 400 grams if you can. So
yeah, and that's going to be depending on weight and depth and current. We try to get away with the lightest that we can for obvious reasons, just less work on you. But if you're not making contact with the lighter jigs, you got to bump it up. And if you're fishing really deep, it's going to take forever to get down on the lighter jig, so you bump it up there as well.
So a little bit of specialized tackle, your standard dropper loop setup as well, your double gannion. You really don't need a lot of tackle. You don't need to overthink this. A few good big weights, a few heavy jigs, and something to store it in like this bag here. And that's kind of it, guys. It's really simple fishing. Talk to the crew on the boat. They're going to tell you kind of what's going on. Whether you bring your own rod or rent gear, the wharf does have rental gear when you go out on the sport boat to fish this deeper stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. So they're putting braid on those reels, which is great. Allows you guys to fish deeper depths than we had previously been fishing. And then also, if you're going out and you're bringing your own gear, I'd bring a bait rod, a double dropper loop setup, and then I'd bring a jig rod, just something so you can bounce back and forth depending on weather. Sometimes they're going to drift, sometimes there's going to be on anchor. And if you're on anchor, you can fish that jig pretty effectively because the boat's not moving.
Yeah, especially if there's not a lot of current. But that's where that thin diameter line is really going to help. Other than that, guys, pretty simple. On the private charter side of things, you might get lucky enough to have some electric reels on hand.
Yep.
We have plugs set up on the boats here so that we could run electric reels when we're fishing this deep water stuff. So you're fishing your squid, your live sardine, live anchovy, whatever they might have on the boat.
Yeah, and that's pretty fun on the private side. We get to fish a lot deeper than the open party would, and it's exploratory. You don't know what's going to be down there, so we have plenty of releases for these fish, which if we catch something we're not supposed to keep or something that we don't want to keep, we can actually hook up the release clip to the rockfish and send it back down and release them back at a depth where they're going to live. So that's pretty much
it for this week, guys.
Yeah. So if you guys want to come out, call the landing. They have 3/4 day rockfish trips, still plenty of half-day fishing trips for inshore bass and sheephead. And if you want to go on the private side, pretty much open to both half-day and 3/4 day fishing.
Yeah, you guys saw last week we've been doing pretty good on the halibut. And actually right now we're out on the water fishing for some rockfish right now. We got a couple reds in the cooler, and we're going to wind up a gannion right now on the electric reel.
Yep, just prospecting out here, looking at all these new deep spots that we haven't been allowed to fish. So when you guys are ready to come out, we have some new water to target with you guys.
All right, thanks. We'll see you next week.